ahead, Bruce. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm nervous about this, but
why?
Okay. I've never done anything like this.
This is just, it's as casual as you and I talking, just like this.
I brought some examples to show on the camera of sustainable alternatives. Is that permitted?
Bring them. You can hold them up.
I'll show them to you.
Hold
and if
them
you
up.
think it's okay?
Yeah, I'll cut it out. I'm going to get this done right away, by the way. I'm going to start it today. It's going to be it's important that people know about it.
Yeah.
This is great.
I wrote down one or two.
Here, put your water right there.
I wrote down some information that you might want to use.
Yeah, sure. You may have to wear your seatbelt.
Do you have to wear yours?
It'll ding, 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 and then it'll be
okay. I brought a cheat sheet.
Fine.
Just so you know, my voice is gravelly from my chemo meds.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway deaf from field artillery, but I'm okay.
Yeah, but you can hear me out of that ear, right?
What'd you say?
Yeah. You're all right?
I'm good.
All right. We're killing the earth, aren't we? Slowly but surely, we are going in the wrong direction.
We're responsible for a lot of things that are going wrong. And one of them, if you don't mind, I'll take my hat off.
Take it off.
One of the problems we're having is how we handle our waste management. And part of it is the problem with disposing of some plastic products because we can't recycle them anymore. So the bylaw that I'm presenting
at town meeting,
at the special town meeting.
What day is that, so that people know?
October 10th.
Okay.
And the way I wrote it needs some revisions because when I submitted it, the town council wasn't permitted to give any advice to a citizen submitting a proposed bylaw at a special town meeting.
All right, but just so that we don't lose people right up front, what is it about in general?
It's about regulating certain single-use petroleum-based plastic products. And it's important that people recognize that there are petroleum-based plastics and there are plant-based plastics. The petroleum-based plastics only break down into smaller pieces of petroleum. The plant-based plastics truly break down and biodegrade into their natural elements, corn, hemp, things like that don't harm our landfill, our aquifer, our groundwater. So the intent is to regulate some of these petroleum-based products. Now, 4 towns have already done this in regard to the plastic water bottles: Concord, Great Barrington, Lincoln, and Sudbury. This bylaw has that item in it, but it has a few other because those towns received a lot of pushback from the plastic lobby and they had to compromise. I decided to put these other items in. For example, the straws. You know the town is pushing for a voluntary reduction in the use of plastic straws. They're not recyclable, they're debris. The clean team picks up hundreds and hundreds of pounds of plastic debris from our beaches, roads, and bike paths, and this would help reduce that load. And the clean team has already expressed to me they're in favor of this kind of initiative. So we're targeting straws and stirs, and the odd thing is the town actually has a brochure that promotes the use of plastic straws and stirs and plastic eating utensils, while at the same time the town is trying to remove the use of those. And there are sustainable alternatives. I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. This is a flexible food-grade silicone straw.
Can I touch it?
You can have it. It's
food-based.
It can go in the dishwasher. It can be reused. It can be sanitized, and it's flexible. And those people who have medical needs that chomp down on a straw can do this without harming their teeth. So this is a good, sustainable alternative. And there are others.
Well, somebody's going to say we got to have straws that are biodegradable and that you can throw out, because you do want a single-use straw. How many people are going to carry around a multi-use
This
straw?
is for families at home.
Okay, understood.
The bylaw is not intended to affect families or individuals. It's intended only for the commercial users, restaurants, bars, food manufacturing people on the island. It's not meant to impose any sort of a violation on a family or an individual user.
Now, right now it's voluntary.
Right.
But we want to make it mandatory.
We do.
For commercial use.
And we want to do that because of the conflicting nature of some of our regulations in town. We want to clear up all that vagueness and confusion. So the objective is to protect the aquifer, the groundwater. We can't really realistically recycle our plastics anymore because China's not taking it, and the recyclers on the mainland are closing. The only recycler that does number 3s through number 7 on the East Coast is stopping sorting and recycling.
How much recycling do we do in this country? Do you have any of the figures on that?
It's about 8% of the total plastics that we consume.
And you know what? We recycle more than most countries. I've been over to Asia. You would not believe what they throw in the water there. It will shock you. You'll come back home like I did and go, what are we doing to our planet? It's shocking. I went to Bali. Quick offshoot story.
Yeah, sure.
First time I went to Bali. Couldn't wait. Beautiful Bali. Like Hawaii, right? First time into the water. I jump into the water, into the beautiful, looks beautiful. Within 2 seconds, a plastic bag hit me in the face.
Oh, geez.
It was horrible. There's so much junk that people are throwing out. We have got to get rid of plastic.
And the problem was that China was taking it, couldn't process all of it, was pushing it into the rivers. It ended up in the Pacific Ocean, into that great Pacific Ocean gyre. But
I mean, even if we do clean it up, so, how much are we going to get before it actually is breaking down and gets into the food chain? It's breaking down and it's getting into the food chain.
The plastics break down, the petroleum-based plastics break down into microplastic pieces, some as small as less than a millimeter. A recent study in May of this year found those small pieces of microplastics in the bottled water they're buying.
Yeah.
So our water supply on Nantucket doesn't have that in it. It's coming from our wells, and it's coming from the deep well that the water company uses. We want to protect that water, and that's part of what this bylaw is about. And as you said, we're recycling these things and sending them off the island, and it's costing us money.
Okay.
We pay money to ship it off. We then have to pay a recycler to take it. And what happens is, as you can see here,
I just want to go in here and show people this, just so that they see it.
We ship off our cardboard, tin, and aluminum, and we make money on that. Then we ship off the plastic, and it costs us money. When we subtract the plastic cost from the money we make on the cardboard and the metals, the net result is called the net recyclable credit, and that's split 50-50 between Waste Options and the town. So if we can reduce the volume of plastics, the negative component, we will increase the town share of the net recyclable credit. We'll actually make money by reducing the amount of plastics we dump into the landfill. And that's important. This bylaw will help extend the life of the landfill because it won't be filling up as fast. The old unlined cell that we've been mining, we're going to have to stop that mining before it's complete on June 30th of this coming year. So whenever it rains or the snow melt filters through that, the toxins from these plastics are still going to leach until we can cap that unlined we sell. So this is really important to protect our groundwater. I mentioned the confused regulations that we have. It'll also help reduce entanglements of marine mammals, turtles, and other birds and things like that.
Of course.
Especially when we deal with one of the items that we want to regulate are the flexible six-pack yolks, and I'll show you
Oh,
those.
sure. Yes, we know about that.
The plastic nip bottles that are all over our bike paths.
What is this? How are we going to enforce it?
Enforcement's a tricky question because we don't want to have plastic police. This bylaw is meant to be enforced in a passive nature, the same way we enforce certain violations like talking on the cell phone, nighttime lights that bother people after they're supposed to be turned off, noise complaints. It's passive. A complaint would be made, for example, with the town manager, who would then pass it off to either a health department inspector or a police officer.
Yeah.
And if they have nothing else of higher priority to do, they would check this out. And we'll enforce it on social media as well as just asking these folks, the commercial users, to cut it back. And you know what, Gino? Most of them already are starting. They're using paper straws that are manufactured by the Aardvark straw company in Indiana.
Well, they're not doing it as much as they should be.
But it's increasing.
It is, but station critical. We are at a critical moment right now where the world has got to start waking up to a variety of environmental issues in many, many ways. We are not doing what we should be doing, and we know we should just get rid of it. What did we use before we had plastic?
We've changed our behavior.
Didn't we have glass and wood?
We had glass straws, we had wood straws. A lot of times we didn't even use straws. We just drank out of a cup.
And I'm not just talking straws, I'm talking any use of plastic, any kind of plastic at all.
We used glass containers that we washed out. You remember when you were a kid, Mom and Dad had the Pyrex containers that they would store food in?
Yeah.
Plastics are a convenience that are hurting us.
And what do you think's all that? What is all that right there?
A lot of it is plastic. A lot of it is plastic bags. And right now we have biodegradable plastic bags.